This is Democracy Now! We are breaking with convention war peace in the presidency as we go from the suites to the streets to the convention floor. We've moved from Denver, covering the Democratic National Convention, to here in St. Paul to the Republican National Convention. We're broadcasting from SPNN, from St. Paul Neighborhood Network, public access here in St. Paul. I'm Amy Goodman. Well, there were a number of preemptive raids throughout this weekend. As they were taking place, thousands of journalists were making the trip from Denver, where they were covering the Democratic National Convention, to here in St. Paul to cover the Republicans. One of those who just happened to be on our flight was Jon Stewart of Comedy Central's fake news program, The Daily Show. I caught up with him next to baggage claim at the Minneapolis airport. So, Jon,
I thought it was a reasonable flight.
you enjoyed the mixed nuts. Is that how you refer to your fellow passengers?
That is how I refer. Well, when you're going to a convention, it's really the only way to refer to your fellow passengers. But it was nice to see everybody rolling on. You were just checking off organizations, AP, New York Times, radio, Democracy Now!
What if the plane had gone down?
American discourse would have risen. I can't even imagine the depths. It would have been like the Senate, the Roman Senate, the speeches that could have been given, the media that could have been attended to.
What do you think about the possibility that this convention will take place, the Republican convention, as a massive hurricane wallops the Gulf Coast?
Well, I'm surprised that God would send a hurricane to New Orleans when the Republican convention is here, so clearly all the gays are here, as we all know from the Larry Craig bathroom. So it's just, I guess, a missed opportunity for God. But I guess he knows what he's doing.
What do you think of the image of President Bush here when 3 years ago at the same time he was also not there?
You know, my guess is they're going to work as hard as they can to create the illusion of concern this time. The illusion, of course.
You mean with a video behind them, a big screen of the hurricane happening?
My guess is they will fly him down there with some sort of crew, and or they will say, you know, the president was supposed to speak today, but he just can't because he just cares so gosh darn much, and he'll head down there and repair all the damage that's been done. Wouldn't it be nice if everything that he's done wrong over these past 8 years, he gets a redo? Just as this goes along, each night of the convention, maybe that'll be the themes. The first night he gets to redo Katrina, Tuesday night maybe Iraq. You know, he'll just get to redo each mistake.
And the theme could still be ready to govern.
Yes, almost. They've just about got it down. They'll get it.
What do you think of Sarah Palin?
It was interesting. I think, Senator McCain has made it very clear that experience is his #1 asset, and I think he went with that. Wait, are we talking about running a commercial fishery, or are we talking about governing? It was interesting.
You think she'll get some Hillary delegates?
The ones that were voting for her purely on gynecological reasons, maybe, but I think politically, no.
The evangelicals, do you think that could shore up something McCain could not have gotten on his own?
They seem very pleased. I've seen big smiles all day long on that, so that's got to mean something.
And what about this investigation they're doing of Palin? The possibility that she fired her top security guy for putting pressure on him to fire her sister's ex-husband.
Right. I imagine that's what got her the gig. They probably looked into that and said, you know something? I could see her running the Justice Department.
What about Barack Obama? Were you there in the football
Unfortunately,
stadium?
we were never able to be there. We had a couple of guys there that got convention passes, but we weren't able to be there for much of the time. We were over at the University of Denver, so, you know, for us, we were watching on TV like everybody else.
And what did it look like?
It looked like the first presidential nomination acceptance speech that you could see from space. That was about it.
And what do you think of the media coverage overall?
Great.
In Denver, there were Democrats all over welcoming people every which way in Denver, but here it's very different.
Oh, is that true? Yeah. You think the city feels just a sense of shame? Is that what this is about? I don't know. Maybe they're just busy.
So what are your...
Could be just Labor Day weekend.
What are your plans for the week?
We're going to go do 4 shows from theater. Same sort of that we did for the Democratic Convention, and then we're all going to get the hell out of here and try never to get this close to the political process again.
What do you think has to happen with the media over the next few months?
I don't think it's going to take a few months. It'll probably take a few years. I think they have to separate themselves. They have to extract themselves from this loveless marriage and begin to be the outsiders that we need them to be.
Do you have any words of wisdom for Barack Obama?
It's mostly in hoops. I'll let him take charge of whatever he needs to do, governance-wise and all that. My only thing is, when you're driving the lane, don't go left, because everybody knows that now. Everybody sees how he goes.
John McCain, words of wisdom.
Just try not to stand next to really young people, because, man, that's a juxtaposition.
Finally, their ads are already up.
Yeah.
Blackwater to head to Gustav. Your thoughts on Blackwater?
Boy, you're getting a mouthful. I've been napping for look, if those guys, it'd be nice if we paid our guys that much money. So that's my thought.
It's nice to see you, Jon.
Nice seeing you, too. Take care.
Yes, that familiar voice and face, Jon Stewart of The Daily Show on Comedy Central, here to cover the Republican National Convention. If, in fact, it does take place, they are still taking it day by day, they say. This is Democracy Now! We are breaking with convention. As we interviewed Jon Stewart at the Minneapolis